I, 28, had always thought of my best friend, Jake, 29, as a brother. We grew up together, went to the same schools, and shared all our secrets. Our families were close, and we spent countless holidays and vacations together. Jake was there for me through thick and thin, and I trusted him more than anyone else in the world. Jake was the kind of person who always had a smile on his face, the life of the party, and the one everyone wanted to be around. He had a way of making me feel like I could conquer the world, and I admired him for his confidence and charisma. We had each other's backs no matter what, or so I thought. My parents divorced when I was 16, and it was a devastating blow to our family. I never understood why they couldn't make it work, and I blamed myself for not being able to keep them together. Jake was there for me during that tumultuous time, comforting me and assuring me that everything would be okay. Fast forward to last week when Jake dropped a bombshell on me that shattered my world. We were hanging out at his place, watching a movie, when out of nowhere, he confessed that he was the reason my parents had divorced. I was speechless, stunned, and felt like my whole world was crashing down around me. Jake explained that he had feelings for my mom and had made a move on her when they were alone one night. My mom had rebuffed him, of course, but the damage was already done. My dad found out about it, and that was the final straw that led to their divorce. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My best friend had betrayed me in the worst way possible, by going after my own mother. I was livid, hurt, and felt an intense wave of betrayal wash over me. How could Jake do this to me? How could he destroy my family and then keep it a secret for all these years? I couldn't even look at him. I got up, grabbed my keys, and left without saying a word. I drove home in a daze, my mind racing with a million different thoughts and emotions. How could I have been so blind to Jake's true intentions? How could I have trusted him with everything when he was capable of such despicable actions? I felt sick to my stomach, knowing that the person I considered my brother had stabbed me in the back. When I got home, I couldn't bring myself to confront Jake or even message him. I was too angry, too hurt, and too confused to even know where to begin. I blocked his number, deleted him from all my social media accounts, and cut him out of my life completely. The days that followed were a whirlwind of emotions. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, and couldn't concentrate on anything. I felt like a part of me had been ripped away, leaving a raw, gaping wound that refused to heal. My parents tried to talk to me, but I couldn't bring myself to tell them the truth about Jake's betrayal. I didn't want to cause them any more pain than they had already endured. Update: a week had passed since I cut Jake out of my life, and the wounds were still fresh. I missed him, missed the camaraderie we shared, and missed having someone who understood me like no one else. But I couldn't forgive him for what he had done. The betrayal was too deep, too profound, and too unforgivable. As I sat in my room, staring at the wall, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. I opened it to find a long, heartfelt apology from Jake. He poured his heart out, begging for forgiveness and promising to make amends for his actions. He claimed that he was in love with my mom at the time, but had realized his mistake and regretted it ever since. I felt a surge of anger and resentment wash over me as I read his words. How dare he try to explain away his betrayal with excuses and empty promises? How dare he think that a simple apology could erase the pain and suffering he had caused? I deleted the message without replying, my heart filled with bitterness and anger. I couldn't shake off the feeling of betrayal and hurt that Jake's confession had unleashed. How could I ever trust anyone again, knowing that even the people closest to me were capable of such treachery? I felt like my entire world had been turned upside down, leaving me adrift in a sea of uncertainty and distrust. As the days turned into weeks, the pain of Jake's betrayal didn't lessen. I tried to distract myself with work, hobbies, and friends, but the wound remained raw and festering. I couldn't bring myself to open up to anyone about what had happened, afraid of being judged, pitied, or even blamed for what Jake had done. I found myself isolating more and more, pushing away friends and family who tried to reach out to me. I couldn't bear the thought of opening up to anyone, of revealing my innermost thoughts and feelings, of risking being hurt again. I felt like a wounded animal, retreating into solitude to lick my wounds and protect myself from further harm. As I sat in my room, staring at the blank walls, I couldn't help but wonder, am I the asshole for blocking my best friend after he revealed he was the reason my parents divorced? Was I wrong for cutting him out of my life and refusing to forgive him for his betrayal? Was I justified in protecting myself from further pain and suffering, even if it meant losing someone who had been like a brother to me? I still didn't have the answers to those questions, and perhaps I never would. All I knew was that the pain of Jake's betrayal ran deep, leaving scars that would never truly heal. And as I sat there, lost in my thoughts and emotions, I couldn't help but wonder, would I ever be able to trust again? Update. Another month had passed, but the wounds from Jake's betrayal still felt fresh. I continued to isolate myself, shutting out the world and retreating further into my own emotional turmoil. I couldn't shake off the feeling of anger and hurt that consumed me whenever I thought about what Jake had done. One day I received a package in the mail. It was from Jake. I hesitated to open it, unsure of what could possibly be inside. With a mix of curiosity and dread, I tore open the packaging to reveal a letter and a small box. The letter was filled with more apologies, explanations, and promises of change. The box contained a beautiful bracelet, a symbol of his repentance and a token of his commitment to making things right. I stared at the contents of the package, conflicted and torn. Part of me wanted to throw it all away, to reject Jake's attempts at reconciliation and move on with my life. But another part of me longed for closure, for a chance to heal and move forward from the pain that had consumed me for so long. Against my better judgment, I decided to meet with Jake to hear him out. We sat down in a neutral place, the tension thick in the air between us. Jake poured his heart out once again, begging for forgiveness and promising to never repeat his mistakes. He recounted the pain and guilt he had been carrying for years, and how he had finally mustered the courage to come clean and seek redemption. I listened to his words with a mix of skepticism and vulnerability. I couldn't deny the sincerity in his eyes or the remorse in his voice. A part of me wanted to believe that people could change, that second chances were possible, and that forgiveness could lead to healing. But another part of me remained guarded, afraid to let down my walls and risk getting hurt again. As our conversation continued, emotions ran high, words were exchanged, and tears were shed. The weight of the betrayal still hung heavy between us, casting a shadow over any attempts at reconciliation. Despite Jake's heartfelt apologies and genuine efforts to make amends, I couldn't bring myself to fully forgive him. The wounds were too deep, the trust too broken, and the pain too raw. In the end, we parted ways with a strained sense of closure. Jake understood that our friendship would never be the same, that the bond we once shared had been irreparably damaged by his actions. I, on the other hand, struggled with conflicting feelings of anger, resentment, and a glimmer of hope for eventual healing. Conclusion. In the aftermath of Jake's revelation, our friendship lay shattered and broken beyond repair. The betrayal he had inflicted on me, my family, and our shared history had left a permanent scar that would never truly fade. While I grappled with feelings of anger, hurt, and distrust, Jake tried to make amends in his own way, seeking forgiveness and redemption for the pain he had caused. As time passed, the wounds from Jake's betrayal began to heal, albeit slowly and imperfectly. I found solace in therapy, introspection, and self-care, gradually working through the pain and rebuilding my sense of trust and security. Jake, on the other hand, faced his own demons, confronting the guilt, shame, and regret that had plagued him for so long. While we both tried to move on from the past, the shadow of Jake's betrayal continued to linger between us, casting a pall over any attempts at reconciliation. The rift that had formed between us remained deep and wide, a stark reminder of the destruction caused by one fateful act of betrayal. In the end, our friendship was irreparably damaged by the revelation of Jake's betrayal. The bond we had once shared, the memories we had created, and the trust we had built were all tainted by the pain and hurt that had resulted from his actions. And as we drifted further apart, consumed by our own conflicting emotions and regrets, it became clear that the fallout from Jake's betrayal would haunt us both for years to come. And so, as I reflect on the events that transpired, I can't help but wonder, am I the asshole for blocking my best friend after he revealed he was the reason my parents divorced? Perhaps. But in the end, the pain and suffering caused by Jake's betrayal are wounds that may never truly heal, leaving both of us to bear the burden of our actions and the consequences that follow.